Before we start today's video, I wanted to show you the water running down our street during a recent rainstorm. It was kind of crazy. So let me zoom in. There you go. You can see that. Look at that. Look at it just running down the street and out of the alley. It's crazy. Alright, so today's video was supposed to be about the little mini dollhouse. Well, to tell you the truth, it's kicking my butt. I ended up ordering a magnifying glass because it is just so small and I am having so much trouble seeing all the little tiny details. So hopefully that'll come soon and we'll get back to that. So instead, I decided to do some miniature DIY projects today. And these are the projects in front of me that I am going to be making for you. So let's get going on that video. So this intro ran a little longer than I wanted it to. First off, we're going to be making just a very, very simple rug using scraps from something I already had. So I bought this frame recently at Dollar Tree and it had this fuzzy butterfly. I just wanted the frame and the backing. I did not want this fuzzy butterfly. So I peeled the fuzzy butterfly off and I was thinking about it and I thought that is going to make a really cute rug. So I cut out 2 pieces of cardstock. I have an oval cutter, which is nice. So I didn't have to try to draw out an oval freehand. Here I'm just applying some tacky glue to the bottom of one of the pieces of cardstock. And as you can probably guess, I'm just going to flip that over and put it right onto this butterfly. Now if you were doing this, you could use, this is a really fuzzy fabric. I'm taking it was for a little kid's room. I'm just cutting around the oval. I'm a little off camera, and that's going to happen during this video. But yeah, I'm just cutting around the oval, and as I was saying, this is a really fuzzy fabric, and it really reminded me of the texture of a miniature rug, so that's what I'm using, and it's almost cut out. And it's done. And it is so cute. I'll just be giving you one more little close-up look at it here. So sweet. And I'm not going to put anything on the back because nobody's going to walk on it anyway. So, we don't need anything on the back. And just another look at the fuzzy fabric I used on the butterfly. So that's that project. Very simple, very quick, very easy. The next ones kind of drove me a little more crazy. I decided to use some Waverly white chalk paint and this little basket. Now this was originally the base, it had a faux tiny plant in it and I did not like the plants and so I took the plants out and saved the baskets. I'm a little off camera again, but I'm just trying to see how good this paint is going to work at covering both the top part of the weaving and the sides. And I'm just, like I said, coating it with this Waverly white chalk paint, which I really like because it does a really good job. And some of the weaving in the basket wants to cover a little better than other spots of it. So that's why I'm kind of off camera and holding it close because I really want to make sure that I get all of it so there's none of the brown basket color showing through. Oh, this video has been a bugger. It took me forever to edit it because a couple times I walked off and left the camera on, came back, and I had 15-20 minutes of video running that had nothing on it. So it was a trick to get this all edited, but hopefully it's not the best video I've ever shot, and I realize that, and I apologize for it, but it was fun. It's kind of a fun video. I did lose a little footage on a few of the projects, I did do a little bit of some things off camera, but that was simply because it was just painting or something like that, and you're already watching me sit here and paint this basket. As I was saying with the little house, I really need to order a magnifying glass. I just cannot quite see. It's like I started out okay, and then after about a few minutes, it's like I'm getting a headache, and so hopefully that'll do the trick and take care of it, so we can get back to that because I am so excited about that one. All right, well here's the basket all painted white, and I'm not touching the inside of it. But what I'm doing now is I'm taking another of Waverly's chalk paint, and I think this one's called Night Sky. I'm not 100% sure. I forgot to zoom in. This was just, oh, goodness. Anyway, so I'm just painting that, and I'm just going to paint just a strip around the bottom part of the basket and then the bottom of the basket. This was a little harder to get it to cover the white so that I didn't have white sticking through. And as most of these cheap mini baskets are, this basket wasn't quite even. So it took me a little longer to get the paint on, try to get it evened out, try to get it so that none of the white on there had shown through. I actually found it relaxing to do this, which is kind of crazy because I hate painting. I've been painting my kitchen cupboards past couple days, so I've been doing that and trying to get some cleaning done and everything on my 2 days off. So I'm going to speed this up now because you don't need to watch me paint forever. And this really did took a bit of time to get this done. Simply because I didn't want the white showing through on the blue part of the basket. And I'm just painting the bottom of it now. And it's turning out pretty good and pretty cute, just like I wanted it to. So that's something, right? I guess when I was thinking about this video, I was like, occasionally I'll watch a DIYer on there because I am in the process of fixing my own home, fixing it up, doing some little remodeling, planning on that in the future. And I'm just looking for some ideas, and now I'm just washing out my brush. So I do occasionally watch DIYers, and I thought, that would be a cute idea for a video in miniature, would be to pretend that the person who owned the house was creating these DIYs for, their own home. And I was trying to use up some junk I had laying around. You'll see up in the upper part of my craft mat, there's this gold medallion thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. But here's our little basket, and it's all painted with the blue and white. And then I'm just going to put this neutral beige colored fabric I'm going to line it with that. I've already got the little base cut out and covered down there. I was struggling with this because right now my craft room is really messed up. So I'm at the dining room table, and I don't have a very long reach on my cord for my glue gun. My craft room, as I said, is really a mess now because my daughter and I will be having a rummage sale in August, and I'm clearing out a lot of my craft stuff that I have that I no longer use, like rubber stamps and some scrapbook paper, that kind of thing. So I was going to glue the lining in with you, but due to the fact the glue gun doesn't have a very long cord and I could not find the extension cord I use, I put the lining in the basket without you. But I'm going to put the base in, and then I'll show you what the little basket looks like. And so far I'm thinking it turned out pretty cute. I do apologize for not having you along with me on every step of this. But, yeah, see, there I was gluing it in, getting the hot glue in there. There's no other spot that I have a plug-in where my dining room table sits that I can plug it in, so I had to make do with what I had, and this is not the quality of video you guys deserve, so I apologize for that. Hopefully I'll be back in the craft room soon. Then I thought about, I have this little white braid here, and I thought it would be perfect to put around the edge of the basket. So I was just cutting an end off there, and now I'm just I'm off camera again, but I'm checking it out myself, and although it might have been cute, it's a very, very stiff braid, so we're not going to use that. We're going to go with Plan B. And Plan B will be coming up in a second here. Plan B is going to be using some of this suede stuff. It's a suede, and I got it at Walmart. And again, because of the glue gun, you're not going to see me glue it down, but this is what the basket's looking like. And I used a dark brown suede on there. Sorry, I have Corky who now thinks he has to try to help me. Okay, so that's how that was looking, and I just kind of left it. This one, I lost the footage on. It's really cool. You'll see it at the end of the video. So we're just going to kind of forget about that one right now. Wait, we're back to it. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've got this video done. And yeah, so what it is those of you who remember the late 60s and early 70s are going to probably get the idea of what I'm doing. This is a metal spoon I've had around forever. I bent the end of it up, and like I said, for those of you who remember the late 60s, early 70s, they had those gigantic ladle wall hangings that I think you could put a candle in, or you could put like greenery in or something like that. So I'm just brushing on a coat of, I'd already painted it orange long before this video, and I thought, well, why not bring you along on what I was doing. Here I'm just putting some Waverly antiquing wax on, because I found one of these, a week or so ago at a thrift store, and I bought it because I want one. So I had to copy it, or try to. So what I'm doing now is I have these two little, they were just pieces of 1/4-inch dowel, and I glued a little wooden bead on top. I think you can see by the one that I've got stuck to the painter's tape there that that's all it is. It's just a 1/4-inch dowel. I cut the dowels in 2 different sizes, but used the same size beads to make some candle holders. Again, I'm a little off camera. I'm trying to see if the Waverly wax is going to go over the glue that I put on there. I'm hoping so, and it seemed to pretty much on the one I was doing, so we'll do the next one together. That's the one thing I do like about the Waverly antiquing wax, is if you use a lot of it, you can usually mask any glue residue, and I wasn't sure I got it all off. However, sticking it to the blue painter's tape and trying to paint it was not a very good idea because it kept falling over. So I've just grabbed the second one now, and I'm just applying the wax, and I'm not wiping it off on these. I wanted a much darker looking candlestick. I had thought about painting it with the white and then just distressing it, but I don't want everything to be white that I make either. So I'm just brushing that all over it. I never, like I said, I never wiped it off. I just left it on there full strength, I guess you'd call it. And in the end, they really turn out a very nice color because it does lighten as it sits. At least on these it did. And like I said, excuse me, getting off camera, I'm just trying to get that glue covered up. See, and then I tried to put that one down and do the top of it, and I'm like, to heck with it, I'll just get my fingers full of antiquing wax. It's water soluble, so it comes off. But yeah, and I set them both on that blue, and I know you really can't see it, but I wanted them to sit up while they were drying. And I apologize, this video is getting put on so late, but like I said, am trying to multitask and get a lot of stuff done. So You'll see now that I have a little white object sitting in front of me. Um, this is just the end of a newel post for a miniature staircase, and then I glued one of those small round beads to that, a little wooden bead. And I painted that white off camera because, well, you've seen me. So what I'm doing now is I have some little, they're the spacers, I think, for beads or bead caps. And I'm just putting some E6000 on, and then I'm going to attach those to my candle holders. And in hindsight, I used dark ones because I really like the color, but now they kind of just blend right into the candle holder. So I should have maybe used gold or something like that. They did turn out really cute, but yeah, I should have honestly used a lighter color for the candle cups. In the end, I found some old candles I had made out of toothpicks a long time ago. I found those, so we'll be putting them in when I show them to you at the end. And they really look cute. They just need some decent looking candles in them. So now I have this. This was a big green plastic button, and I've already sanded it down. I have the pieces I'm going to be using with it. The wood is a piece of a miniature newel post, and the other is just a big silver bead cap. What I wanted to make was a fruit bowl. I had made those two using the metal buttons and stuff that I had showed you, but I wanted one big enough for a 1/12 scale dollhouse. Those that I made before looked more like they would be good in a 1/24 scale. So I'm just going to be gluing the wooden piece onto the bead cap right now. And just, like I said, I apologize for this video jumping around so much. If I had taken the time, to do each of these one at a time, it would have taken forever. But I'm just, yeah, like I said, you guys deserve much better than this video. It's just been crazy. It's work, and then we get rain, and then the grass grows like crazy because it gets hot, and then my mower isn't working right now, and my neighbor isn't mowing right now because it's been 90 degrees out, and he's been mowing my yard for me. Yeah, so I've got all that to deal with. Plus, I was painting my kitchen cabinets, which are long overdue. Anyway, I've got the piece of the newel post glued to the little silver bead cap, and I'm just pushing it, just trying to get it so it's nice and straight. Now this is what you saw in the other video, and I don't know why, I don't think it was painted there, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is, like I said, this is a newel post off of a miniature staircase, and I just glued one of those wooden balls to it. And what I'm going to be doing here, and yes, I'm a little off camera to start again, I just like to make sure I get into those tiny spaces, like where parts join up, because I don't want any wood showing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of going around that right now, making sure I'm getting it into that spot, because my chalk paint is getting old and it's getting thick. This one, by the way, happened to end up being my absolute favorite project. And what I want it to look like is it's part of an old porch post that got cut off. And so the person whose house this is has decided to go ahead and paint it up and then distress it and put it in their house. Miniature upcycling, which is kind of fun actually. You guys should try it. Just find all those old things you don't know what you're going to do with. And if you need to, watch a DIY video or two on YouTube. There's some very talented people out there who do that. And then get some ideas and go for it from there. Trying to get my hands out of the paint, but that's not going to be possible here. Like I said, this piece ends up being my very favorite out of all of the ones I did. I absolutely love the way this turns out. You're going to hear the neighbor's dog bark, and dog barks all the time. It even barks at them. Yeah, it's a cute dog. It's a border collie, and it's really cute, but yeah, it's not. It likes to bark all the time. And with the 4th of July coming up, there's been people shooting off fireworks today, and yeah, the dog has been barking. So now I've just put down a drop of B6000, and excuse me, and I'm going to be gluing the green button, which I did sand because it was a very, very shiny plastic button. So I did sand it, and now I'm just putting a little E6000 on the bottom of that, and I'm going to attach it to the wood piece that is on top of the bead cap. I'm just trying to get it even so it's, you know what I mean, so it sets straight. And if I keep bumping this piece of wax paper it's on, it's probably going to just fall off, but it didn't. I got it pretty. So now I'm just giving the little fruit bowl the second coat of the Waverly white chalk paint. I had to do 2 coats because it was kind of hard to cover that green especially, and I also want to make sure that I get the bead cap on the bottom all painted. I don't want any silver showing through. I did not paint the bottom of the bead cap, but I did paint the top. So I'm just putting that on there now, and it's looking good. So I'm gonna close up my paint there, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. Really like it. So now I'm taking this little piece of the newel post here, and what I'm doing is I just touched up a little white paint. I went back and painted a dark brown over it because I realized that just stressing it with, you know, just the antiquing wax wasn't a thing, but this is it with the antiquing wax on it, and I just watered it down and wiped it off because I didn't want it too dark like the candle holders that I just made. So I'm still, as you can see, touching up the little bowl because I could still see some of that green. And this button has a lip around the inside, so that also made it kind of hard. I was not able to get all of the shank out of it. I tried clipping it out, sanding it out, and there's a little bit left, but once we put fruit in this bowl, I don't think it's even going to be noticeable. And I want to do a video soon on using either oven baked clay like the Sculpey or whatever, or some air dry clay, because I want to make some more fruit, I want to make some vegetables, and I've got a couple of other decorating ideas that I think would be really fun to do with the clay. So we'll see. I was getting a little frustrated because this thing, I would think I had it painted, and then as the paint dried I would see, you know, a spot where I was seeing some green or whatever, and it was a little frustrating, but it turned out really cute in the end. So yeah, I'm good with that. I am not one who likes to paint. It's a repetition of the thing, like my cupboards, okay? Like this isn't so bad, but my cupboards, they're just straight and flat. Okay, I'm showing you one of the candle holders again with a candle in it. It's kind of leaning over. I just kind of barely glued them in so that so we'd have something that looked like a candle. I have some beeswax from when I used to do junk journals and that, and I've never used it, and I'm thinking it'd be fun to melt it down and try hand dipping candles. So that's one of the projects I would like to do in the future. I think that would be fun, and we could use them in one of the houses. There's a lot of cars right now out there, so and there comes my air conditioner, so please excuse all the noise going on. It's been so hot, I hate to be without the air conditioner. So now what I'm using is a super glossy Mod Podge because I want this fruit bowl to look like it's ceramic. And so I'm just painting that all over it. This stuff is so thick. I put it on, I don't know if anybody else has had this problem, but I used this really thick Mod Podge on some Sculpey clay that I had baked, and it was baked to the right consistency, you know, everything, and then I put this on top and it never dried. Has anybody ever had a problem with that? And if you have, could you please tell me what I'm doing wrong? I wanted a very glossy shine on the piece that I had made, and it just is like it just never dried. It's still tacky to this day, and I did it a few years ago, so let me know what I'm doing wrong if you guys know, or if you've experienced that too. It did dry hard on the bowl, so I'm good with that, but I just never interacted with the clay. Well, here's the bowl, and I was debating whether or not to even put any designs on it, and then I used some nail art stickers. I did not do this on camera because I was having so much trouble. Some of the nail art stickers come off really easy, some don't. And these were just being little buggers. Here's the basket all done up with its little suede band on it and the blue and white. I think it turned out really cute. It turned out like I wanted it to. So yeah, I really like that. Now here's my favorite piece. This thing turned out so distressed, and it was just mostly through the coats of paint, not even the antiquing wax I put on it. So that's pretty much my favorite thing. Here's a little orange spoon that I did. It does look quite a bit like the ladle I have that I just recently bought. So that turned out. And the candle holders, if I could go back and do it again, I would have done a much brighter, maybe gold candle cup on those. Anyway, that's the video. I'm sorry it's not the quality you guys deserve. There's the house with all of my bad cuts on it. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a safe and happy 4th of July. I will see you Wednesday, and we will have a good quality video, not this. Thank you again. Bye for now.